Right underneath the Mercury finger. This is where your marriages, your relationships, and your children are going to show. So, see where the flirt lines are on the end of the heart line, little tassels? Well, I call them flirt lines. It really means it. If you got little tassels there that you interact well with people, yours are fairly good. And then that section in between the flirt lines and the ring around the Mercury finger, that has your marriages and your relationships going horizontally from the outside of the hand to the inside, and then the children lines go down from the ring around the Mercury finger. So that section between the flirt lines and the ring around the Mercury finger, you divide that into thirds. The first third is about age 20, 30. The second third's 40, 50, and the last third's 60, 70, 80. And then starting right there, kind of in the middle of that Mercury finger, and going down, they're little tiny short lines. Those are your children lines. See where the little green asterisk is? You read from the inside out. So the first child would be that line where I've got the little asterisk. Children lines, two lines together. And then there's two more lines. It's got quite a space in there. Then there's two more little lines. They're short lines. They might be stepchildren, or they could be grandchildren too. But there's a little space in between each set of the two lines. Because I don't think you're going to have... It doesn't look to me like you're going to have more children. Are you the one that wanted more children? No, I don't think you were. Nope. Okay, you do have a marriage line in there. Now, all your relationships are not going to show. Very often, yours, the first one from age 15 to 22, that won't show at all. And then the second one might show a little bit. The third one then shows just above the flirt lines. That relationship line shows. And then you've got, so I marked that in red, two relationships. You've got one before the marriage and one after the marriage. You got one relationship then before the marriage, then there's a marriage line, and then there's another relationship when you get older. The reason you generally, women get a relationship line after the marriage line is that women have a stronger DNA than men. They have a X DNA, and the men have an XY DNA. So see, it weakens their DNA just a little bit. So because they have that weaker DNA, men usually die 6 to 7 years before women do. And I see this all the time in the hand reads. And that's why you see so many little widows running around, is because the DNA's weaker on the men. And they die quicker. Read your obituaries, you'll find out. Okay, so you got the one good marriage line, and then you've got another relationship line there later in your life. So your one marriage, very good marriage line. It's got nice color to it, and it's nice and straight. It's a good marriage line. It's slightly more than about 20 years long. There's not an exact time on these marriage lines, but when it gets over there underneath that Mercury finger pretty good, you can figure that's good 20 years. Now, I can't tell you exactly when you're going to marry, but there's a little marking that shows up in the fate line. The fate line's got a good timeline on it. It starts at the base of your palm and it goes up. When it crosses that head line, it goes up to the Saturn finger only. And when it crosses that head line, that's about age 40. Where it crosses the heart line, that's age 50. And then when it crosses that line around the base of the Saturn finger, that's age 80. So this little marking looks like the letter Y. It's a little stick with a fork on the end of it. And it'll show up in that fate line at a time that is positive for you to marry. So here's, it only shows on the left hand. Here's why I found that little marking, your chance to marry, at age 40, 41, 43, 49, and 54. That's where the little chance to marry marking shows up. Of course, you make the choice. You pick whichever it is, but that's a positive time when you can marry. Okay, and it's a really good marriage line. I honestly don't think you'll get children from that line, but you might get stepchildren, or I say those other two lines might be grandchildren.